very first product you used from Conklin 13 years ago was a product called Amplify. And Amplify is a seed treatment developed by University of Arizona. It basically is approved for any crop other than soybeans. And basically what it does is, I think of it as a seed-applied fertilizer. It really is a high-energy phosphorus we put on the seed at the time of planting, either in a dry or a liquid form. And when we put corn in the ground, what we'll see typically is 7 to 8 bushel yield response is pretty typical. You said, I remember the first year you said you used it, you really didn't see a lot of difference, but it was a pretty nice spring.
Right.
But typically, 3 bushel is about the least I've ever seen in terms, and basically 1 bushel pays for it. But Amplify is, I think, a really good example of a product that is simple to use, high-tech, low-tech application. If you can put it on the seed, you're going to get good results. In general, what we see is the smaller the seed, because of high-energy phosphorus is what really allows that seed to germinate and grow. When that seed begins to germinate, it basically has a certain amount of energy in the seed, and that's what gives it the seedling vigor. Well, we've added an additional source of energy, which means that for just a few bucks an acre, what we've done is we've really invested in our seed investment to make sure it pops out of the ground with a lot of seedling vigor. And so the smaller the seed, typically, the better Amplify works. So on grain sorghum, things like that have very small seeds, alfalfa. I've had guys tell me that they've seeded with and without Amplify in the same field a new stand of alfalfa, and 5 years later they can point to the line where the difference in yield in stand is. Popcorn is something that is a smaller seed. It is a one of the things guys always tell me is that when the popcorn starts to go down, it's ready to harvest.
Yep.
But popcorn is something you raised this year, and I know you have in the distant past, but tell us a little bit about your experience with popcorn and Amplify and the other AgroVantage system. Tell us how you varied your program for popcorn versus what you use in your standard cornfields.
Oh, absolutely, Dennis. I love getting excited. I love specialty crops, and this is our first year within 15 years ago we grew popcorn. This year we were blessed to grow 80 acres for preferred popcorn out of Chapman, Nebraska. And I knew what I was going to expect with the Conklin AgroVantage system after using it for 12 years. But what really excited me about is number one, Amplify, putting it on the seed, and going with our in-row starter program, our in-row plant food program that only Conklin can offer, because it's pure food grade plant food with neutral pH. And we're able to do that. So basically we treated our popcorn just like our field corn, and I tell you what, that popcorn popped right out of the ground. It was very, very healthy. I was very impressed with the stand. We planted 36,000, we got 36,000.
Wow.
They were amazed. They said, wow, you got 36,000. Yeah, we planted 36, we got 36. Now that tells you right there that that's a great insurance policy, best low-hanging fruit on the market. But what's even more exciting about the popcorn is we had a windstorm come through on July 9th of 2020 and July 11th. It had 35 to 40% green snap. Basically, my insurance man come out and he said, I'm not even going to walk that field. It's hanging over. It's goosenecked. I'm not going to walk it. We're just going to take it to harvest. Well, he expected that field might make 4,500 pounds, which is probably still good for 15-inch row popcorn, but I didn't know what to expect. So I went ahead, and before that had happened, I went ahead and foliar fed that field before this storm hit. And I think that really brought it back. I foliar fed it with 8-16-11 2S, some Syntos, a little bit of boron, some magnesium, because that's what my soil tests from Midwest Labs told me to do. So the airplane applied that cocktail with fungicide on there, and we went to harvest that popcorn. It was just a shade under 6,000 pounds. And Lord willing, he blessed us. It was a great thing because the corn was going down, but yet it was still good moisture. It was still 14.5 to 15% moisture. The plants were still green. The ears were standing up. The popcorn, when we got to the popcorn plant, they called me on the phone. They said, wow, you've got some really good quality popcorn here. You have your combine set right. We love the quality of your popcorn. And that's the difference. It's about the quality of the grain, and that's what Conklin delivers, is the quality, test weight, the quality of that grain, especially in specialty crops. And for you guys out there growing specialty crops like seed corn or popcorn or any kind of a seed program with specialty crops, Conklin AgroVantage is going to only enhance what you're doing already and improve the value per bushel or per pound on your popcorn.
So what's the what was your test weight on that corn?
I believe it was up around 68 pounds.
Wow.
So, and 65 is general for that. And this was a popcorn that's basically designed to get bigger kernels, but it's more of a butterfly popcorn, which in movie theaters love it. So the popcorn was exciting to grow. I'm looking forward to growing more of it next year and using more of the AgriVantage system on it. And that's what I love about AgriVantage is you can take what you're doing right now and incorporate these things simply into the system that you have on your planter, on your own sprayer, or even if you're going to have it done professionally by the co-op or have a custom hire do it. These products are so simple and easy to use. You can do it with your assisting program and just enhance the quality of your grain that you want to produce.
So what percent did he estimate was the green snap damage?
35 to 40%.
Okay, so even with 35 to 40%, you got just under 6,000 pounds. That's pretty amazing. What would he guess, I mean, if you've talked to him, you would have yielded had you not had the green snap?
It probably would have yielded in that 7 to 7,500 range is what we were told.
Wow.
So, you know, we still picked up a tremendous amount of yield with that high a green snap. And so that's what really impressed me is that cocktail that we applied with the airplane really enhanced that program. And we did a test strip on the east side of the field, and you could see the difference, but the popcorn just did not do as well where we applied the Conklin products. So by air or by ground, knowing your fields, knowing what your soil and what your plants are telling you, that's the key to the Conklin AgriVantage system, and that's what's so great about it, is you can do anything that's within your budget and stay within that and still produce great quality corn or popcorn or whatever you want to grow.
Yep. I would say to anybody, if you're growing corn or especially popcorn or especially crop, Amplify is the #1 first thing to use. It's so low cost, it's so easy to use, and you'll see some really good results, especially in the smaller the seed, the more dramatic the results. And so whether it's you're producing popcorn, sorghum, anything that's got a smaller seed, you're going to see really great response at really literally just a couple, $3-4 an acre. So Todd, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Dennis. Pleasure.